Howdy! This screencast is to help you annotate Kae Tempest's spoken word poem, Picture a Vacuum. It's expected that you've already read through the poem and watched the performance of it by Kae Tempest herself. Now, Module C requires you to have an understanding of the aesthetics of language. And this means that you shouldn't be annotating for every little technique, but instead looking for patterns in her spoken word poetry or features that are used predominantly by Tempest herself. Some of these could include allusion, extended metaphor, personification, rhetorical questioning, light and dark imagery, and direct address. Then, when you get to writing your imaginative, discursive, or persuasive texts, you can make links between how the prescribed authors use these features in their writing and then how you have used them in your own. Just some context. Well, Kae Tempest is a young contemporary English playwright, spoken word artist, and novelist. She began performing at the age of 16 and has since emerged as one of the UK's most recognised performance artists, drawing large crowds at festivals such as Glastonbury and Leeds. Her performance poem, Picture a Vacuum, considers the vastness of the universe and how it helps to develop a rational introspection at some of humanity's foils. She weaves together metaphysical questions about the beginning of the universe, only then to provoke empathy and some guilt in our treatment of Mother Earth. She leaves us in a sense of unease, where we are meant to ponder the synonymous actions between humanity and the natural world. All right, on to annotating. So Kae Tempest opens with this first line, picture a vacuum, an endless and unmoving blackness. Now she's talking about space. She's talking about a time and a moment where there is no matter, okay? And I don't mean content matter, I mean like physical matter. And she's alluding to the beginning of the universe, right? She's alluding to the Big Bang. So these very beginning two lines, she presents us with illusion. We also get the very beginning of the light and dark imagery that she presents, okay, with the dark imagery of the unmoving blackness. And she's really opening the poem to this really wide and vast metaphysical question. She's also appealing to pathos in the fact that she is asking us to picture a vacuum. She's tapping into our imagination to say, hey, you picture this. And then she invites us into her poetry, invites us into her world that she's about to explore and talk to us through her performance. She says peace, or the absence at least of terror. Now you've got this little contrast, I suppose, between peace and terror here, but she's also like kind of allowing an opportunity to provide a question, all right? And it's really concerning who brings the terror. I think we eventually find out, or at least we can make some guesses that it's probably about us. The terror is about humanity and what we have done to the world or to the universe or even to Mother Earth. She says, I see, and amongst all this space, that speck of light in the furthest corner, gold as a pharaoh's coffin. Well, we've got the continuation of kind of the light here. This time the light is colored gold. But this line probably represents the birth of civilization and the birth of mankind, okay, in giving us some kind of early social history about pharaohs. In the next stanza, she continues on with the light imagery and the extended the extended metaphor of the light. She says, now follow that light with your tired eyes. Interestingly enough, this is also where the music starts. Okay, she kind of gives us this inquisitive / melancholic tone that starts on the keyboard and expands out from there. But she's really kind of getting us to consider and implicating us within the story. Follow that light with your tired eyes. That's the use of direct address that she's got. She says, it's been a long day, I know, but look. Okay, so she's really trying to connect with this, I suppose, the more mundane daily grind of everybody feeling like at the end of the day, yeah, we're feeling tired, we're exhausted, which is kind of paradoxical because the poem itself is concerned with these grand, much larger ideas about the universe and where we sit in relation to it. She continues, it's been a long day, I know, but look, watch as it flickers and it roars into fullness. Now you can see that even like the flickering, the word choice here has still got to do with the idea of light, okay? And the flickering of it, that like it's early, early not only in the poem, but early in the day, early in the story. It roars into fullness and fills the whole frame blazing afire. You got some really nice alliteration with the F sound there, but the whole frame blazing afire. She's continuing on with this imagery here. And the imagery here actually stands for the sun, or at least what I presume to be the sun. It signifies how the sun basically controls our solar system, how we circulate around it. And she's also presenting, again, this grand idea that we are so small and so powerless in comparison to the universe, in comparison to the sun. She goes on, you can't bear the majesty of here is our sun and look, that you can't bear the majesty of. She says, see how the planets are dangled around it and held in that intricate dance. There is our Earth, our Earth. All right, she asks us a question here. The planets are dangled around it. Again, I think she's trying to continue the mundanity or the smallness of the personification or the story that she's telling here. But again, that fits into a broader social commentary about our place within the universe. There's also a big pause after the and look. Okay, so she's starting to kind of build the tension for us. She presents us with the idea of our Earth. Okay, now what she's using that kind of inclusive language of us, our, and that we are all again complicit into the actions or the understanding of it. She also presents us this beautiful kind of intricate dance, the idea of the Mother Earth. She's maternal, she's comforting, and we start to get the personification here of the Earth itself. Moving on. She continues this personification through its blueness soothes the sharp burn in your eyes. Its contours remind you of love, that soft roundness. Well, she really is kind of continuing and building up the personifying the earth. Okay, again, something maternal, kind, caring, a really good caretaker. Okay, that soft roundness, again, brings us kind of like, I don't know, considering the aesthetics and beauty of youth and people. She says the comfort of ocean and landmass. Picture the world older than she ever thought that she'd get. Well, we've got again that kind of repetition from the opening lines of the poem. Picture the world. It starts with picture a vacuum, and now we can tell that Mother Earth, or the personified version of Mother Earth, that she presents wisdom, okay, and care. She says she looks at herself as she spins, arms loaded with the trophies of her most successful child. I mean, this is a really interesting word choice, loaded, considering what she's about to talk about here. So we might kind of come back to that part, but she's giving us, I suppose, allowing an opportunity for us to expect something lovely, right? About a mother or a woman holding the trophies to be able to boast about their most successful child. But she interrupts that, okay? And then we've got kind of the use of antithesis here. Or at least she challenges our expectations of what a maternal mother is meant to, be considerate and be caring of. She says, the pylons and mines, the power plants shimmer in her still, cool breath. All right, well, you got some alliteration in the P words, so pylons and power plants and the shimmering of it. But the pylons are the things aiming at the sky, the mines opening up the earth, right? She's really kind of, interrupting us to consider, is this what she is proud of? And continuing on. Now, is that a smile that plays across her lips? Or is it a tremor of dread? She's got this accumulation of rhetorical questions on here. And again, making us kind of ponder and consider, is she smiling at the fact that that there are pylons and there are power plants? Or is she asking a question to make us consider it? Would the earth be proud of our developments, or would the earth be disappointed? There's a very quick shift in tone that happens now, because she goes on to say the sadness of mothers as they watch the fates of their children unfold in fast kaleidoscopic vision. So the tone about dread and tremor, and even that opening line about the terror that we bring, has really made our Mother Earth quite sad. And she talks about fate, something again considered with the idea of the universe, the idea of the stars, the idea of destiny. Okay. She continues on, now the world is all spinning in kaleidoscopic vision, like the colors, like drugs in your belly churning. It's unease, right? We're meant to kind of feel like something is not right, or that something is really kind of making her sick. Continuing on. Your skin pulled loose as pluck, shaken and tightened. Now everything's flashing and the waves are magnified as they roll up towards you, and you're tiny as sand, just a speck. Well, you can tell that the sentences, or at least the tension, is building here because she is using polysyndeton, right? As a pluck, shaken and tighten, and the waves are magnified as they roll up, and you're tiny as sand. All of those words that continue on this sentence build up and elongate the sentence, creating this kind of tension within the poem. And we come back to just a speck that we are meant to be. And as you approach the surface, so now the you, we presume, is going to be not only Mother Earth, or personified as Mother Earth, but also again inviting us and making us complicit in the story. All of that initial piece that we felt, in the early Big Bang or the starts of the universe, is replaced with this furious, never known passion. Here we get some more indications of how Mother Earth, or a personified version of her, is feeling. You're feeling the people, the life, their faces are bright in your body. You're feeling you want to be close to them, closer, because these are your species, your kindred. Well, we've got the continuation of the light metaphors here. The faces are bright. We presume kind of talking about knowledge, okay, knowledge and wisdom. And that in the beginning, the dark speck was everywhere, okay? It becomes predominant in the kaleidoscopic scenery. And the speck is now the reader, and the darkness is kind of gone, okay? So that change in the light and dark imagery that gets presented here. She also considers, again, the word kindred. And we can kind of relate that to, familial bonds. All right, so kindred, not only like talking about spirits, but also talking about kin, okay, and family. And we still get that maternal and caring tone here of a personified mother who has, come out of space, or in terms of the poem, and now has kind of changed her vision on Earth or wherever she has ended up. She questions, where have you landed? Uncurl yourself, stand up and look at your limbs all intact. Well, the personified Mother Earth is someone who doesn't really know what they look like or who they are at this point. Okay, she's got these questions here that are inquisitive, her considering and re-questioning herself, her type of introspection, and her type of self-reflexivity. She says, clothes and fashion, this is a city. Let's call her London. Now we get kind of, the birth or the origins of London, at least from this story, okay? Giving her a name, calling this as another part of her kin. And these are the only times that you have known. Is this what it's come to, you think? Well, she definitely asks a question here. We've got the internal kind of, the internal dialogue that she's got. It allows the audience to ponder on the broader kind of concepts of the poem, about the vastness of the universe and where we belong to it. And then she leaves us in the same way that she opens with the picture of vacuum. She's asking us to tap into our imagination, into this world of unmoving blackness and unmoving space. And she leaves us with this lasting, longing question. What am I to make of all of this? Well, now that we've followed the story along of Mother Earth and her journey and where she lands, and the fact that she's kind of moved from a happier, simpler, peaceful life into now more furious, passionate, filled with mines and pylons and things like that new world, she asks the question as she looks around, what am I to make of all of this? We need to consider, what does all of this even refer to? And I think that's what makes part of this poem really great in terms of its interpretation. Because this final mic drop moment, right? We are left to ponder, what have we done if this is what Mother Earth thinks of her children, or if this is what Mother Earth thinks of us? The whole poem is reflexive, right? This process of introspection where we have to consider and we have to concern ourselves with our place in the world. And it personifies something much larger, than humanity. It makes us really kind of concern ourselves with, what actions can we take that help, support, or promote this kind and caring, peaceful nature that Mother Earth once was. Well, I'll leave it at that. Hopefully you have got some great notes about Kae Tempest's Picture a Vacuum. That's it. Thanks for tuning in.